All right. So my name is Sarah Guerrero, and I'm the new executive director here at Breakthrough Houston. And just so excited to be stewarding a 30-year legacy and really just working to build our sustainability for the decades to come, and just so honored to be part of such an amazing team and community. You're going to hear from Rachel today, who leads our college bound program, our work with high schoolers. And probably the part that everyone is most looking forward to. We're going to hear from one of our high school seniors named Abraham Zepeta, and he's going to share a bit about his story and his journey, and it's going to be wonderful. And then we're going to have some question and answer open conversation time. So we'd love to hear from you then. And for those of you who are just joining, you may have joined and your name says Sarah Guerrero. We're not sure why that happened, but feel free to let us know who you are in the chat or change your name on Zoom if so we can just welcome you and know that you're here. All right, so let's talk about some of the barriers that students face on their path to and through college. Our students are just incredibly capable, amazing human beings. And the reality is that they face barriers on their path to access and complete college. In middle school, academic identity, college identity is forming. Many students are navigating these complex systems and processes without the generational experience to guide them. And so early mentorship and belonging matter so much and often more than we realize. As students get into high school, the college application process is complex, it's complicated, it requires strategy. Some aspects of this process are expensive: test prep, mental health support, tutoring. Meaningful summer opportunities and things that build your resume can require access and just support to get into. And then, of course, the process of college application, financial aid, we all know is complex to navigate. And then once students get to college, we really want to empower them to stay. We know that research says that as little as a $300 gap at one point in college can derail a student from being able to finish. And so we look across the life cycle of a student. None of these barriers alone might overwhelm, but layered over time, they can just really shield the path to access and completion. And that is why at Breakthrough Houston, we aren't like a one-time intervention, but we are really building long-term relationships and structured support over time. And when students do complete college, their impact extends far beyond their own life. Our students come to us with the talent, the drive, and college completion just allows them to amplify their impact. Many of our students stay here or come back to Houston and strengthen the institutions that shape our city. We know that a degree shifts earning power and long-term stability, often across generations. Younger students are able to see what's possible early on, and their expectations rise for the way that they want to come back and contribute to their communities. And we know that college graduates are more likely to be able to lead, serve, and invest back in their communities. And so we know that when our students complete, it matters for their own life, and it also benefits our entire city. So let's talk about the students that we build this program around. We are intentionally selective because we are making a deep, long-term commitment with students and families. We are serving not just, the top sort of like 10% or like, think students you would think of as going into just elite schools, but we are actually seeking to increase access and position kids to complete. We're seeking to support more and more students across our city. So we are looking for students who are strong academic potential, and we have a holistic criteria as well to really help identify students and help them build that college identity early and support them to strengthen the numbers of students who are able to both access and be positioned to complete. All right, and so let's look at what this looks like across time. When students come to us as middle schoolers, we think about this part of our program. Our focus is to help them envision their pathway, to build that academic identity, that college-going identity, to build social capital with their like-minded peers, within the host sites that we work within, with their teaching fellows. So a really amazing, cool part of our program is that we bring in local high schoolers and locally connected college students who get an AmeriCorps award and get trained in teaching, and they become the teachers of our middle school students. So there's a near peer mentorship where students can actually see, you know, young people who are not much older than them who are already on this journey. And our middle school work is also about supporting academic readiness. We want to make sure that when our students get into high school, they are prepared to do high school really well. And so that is the focus of our middle school work. And when students get into high school, we call that our college bound program. And this is really where we're equipping students to not just access college, but be prepared to complete. And so we are supporting them with strategic advising, with the different types of partnerships and supports that they need. Rachel will go into depth in this, but whether it's test prep or tutoring or academic advising, we have a structured support across each year of their high school time to position them to not just get into college, but to get into college in a way that will be financially fit. So we define that as them getting accepted into a school with less than $5,000 of annual unmet need so that they are positioned to finish and to do so in a way that is preparing them to have choices after they graduate. And then when students get into college, we stay alongside of them. We have a team that really empowers them to persist, whatever sort of experience that they may have in college that may put them at risk of not being able to complete. We are there beside them to help them navigate that and to help them just think through all the different decisions that they have along the way as on their road to college graduation. And so we're making a decade plus long commitment to each student and their family. This is a relational and structured process, and it's possible because of sustained partnership. I'm really excited to pass it over to Rachel, who's going to take us into that work of equipping our high school program.
Beautiful. So this is our student AFAS. We are going to talk about, again, how we are designing for college completion, not just for high school graduation and college acceptance. So our high school program is really well thought out. We segmented out into grade levels to make sure that each student is receiving the support that they need when they need it. So if we move to our next slide, beautiful. Great. So when we start with ninth graders, they are transitioning from middle to high school. This is a big change that happens in their lives. They have AP credits. They have a lot more work. They have grades that feel like they actually matter and hold weight. And we want to make sure that that transition is as smooth as possible. So we build academic habits with them. We connect them to tutors. We encourage them to join clubs and organizations to build their resume. We encourage them to reach out for socio-emotional supports that build confidence and resilience. And lastly, we already start to talk to them in ninth grade about those scholarship opportunities in senior year so that they can set themselves up for success and aren't getting to senior year saying, oh, I wish I had done X, Y, and Z in ninth grade, and now I can't do it in 12th grade because I didn't follow through in ninth grade. So we set them up for success in ninth grade. When we move to 10th grade, now we're starting to talk about career exploration. We at Breakthrough Houston strongly believe that you cannot start thinking about colleges until you start thinking about your career. I have so many students from before Breakthrough who were like, I really want to go to this college. And I say, why? And they say, well, I don't know. It's just a name that I've heard. And I ask them, well, what do you want your major to be? And they say, well, I don't know, or it's this. And I'm like, well, that school does not have that major. So we really want to make sure that in that 10th grade year before they start college exploration, they are starting career exploration. So we bring in different people in their fields who are at the highest level to talk to our students and to get them to think about what a day in their life would look like. We invited lawyers and doctors and nurses and STEM engineers to come and give them hands-on experience about what their day-to-day looks like so they can start to build their aspirations and think about where they want to be, not just 4 years from now, but 5, 10, 15 years down the road. And then once we talk with them about these career explorations, we actually push them to give it a try. So we have a lot of partnerships with summer opportunities that allow them to explore these career explorations and aspirations in deeper depth. And students start to develop their plan for college exploration in that year as well. So it's a really smooth transition from 10th grade to 11th grade. Students have figured out the careers that they want, and now it's all about that college search. We go on college visits. This year, we're going to New Orleans, and we are so excited about it. We're going to LSU and Tulane and all of these schools that are going to get students so excited about seeing themselves on campus, visualizing themselves there, and realizing that they can do it. We also provide a lot of exposure to diverse institutions with colleges. We invite college rep nights we invite college reps for our college rep night every Thursday to allow students to hear from different colleges and see what their experience might be like here or there. And finally, we start to create a list that reflects where students want to go, who they are, and what their big aspirations are. And each one of these blocks builds the stepping stones to our final year, our 12th grade year. This year, students are hitting the ground running. And we really strongly believe at Breakthrough Houston that even though there is that rumor going around that senior year is so easy, we know that that is not true. Students are taking the most amount of APs, the most amount of extracurriculars, the most amount of leadership positions that they've ever been in their lives. And so we try to front load all of the college applications to the summer. We hold week-long college application workshops for our students so that by the end of those workshops, they can come out having a first draft of their essay, a really good one that they feel really proud of, that they have their resume done, that they have their baseline application done, and they've already started to think about those supplements so that when it gets to October and they're applying, they don't feel that same burden of, I have this on top of everything else in my life, and I don't know if I can do it. Our students can do it. So in that 12th grade year, we refine essays, we strengthen supplemental materials, we analyze financial aid offers, and then we actually help them select their financially fit offer. Whew. All of that is a lot, and we do it all at Breakthrough Houston. And it's really important that we also share with you our results, because none of this matters unless we're getting the results that we want. And spoiler alert, we are. So I want to talk to you a moment about these really awesome results that we have at Breakthrough Houston. So on the left side, you'll see our middle school results. 87% of middle school students grew or maintained grade level expected skills during our middle school summer. 92% of students reported gaining academic skills, and 88% identified a trusted adult at Breakthrough. And we are so proud of that fact. That is so important to build community and make sure students know that they can come to us with whatever is burdening their minds and their hearts, and we can help them through it. And then on the right side, you see our college bound and college completion results. Again, we're designing for college completion here at College Bound. So 95% of Breakthrough Houston's class of 2025 matriculated to college. And the best part, 99% were accepted to a financially fit college with no more than $5,000 of a financial gap. Can we just give some snaps for that? Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Our students come out of college unburdened by debt because thank you, Chenoa, beautiful, because we position them in a place where they are applying to financially fit institutions, where they're applying to scholarships, where they have the resume already to get those scholarships and earn them and take them to their college and feel unburdened. And finally, we have a 90% graduation rate from college. That is crazy, you guys. That is almost double, if not triple, the average of in Texas. And we are so proud of that fact. Beautiful. And now the moment that you have all been waiting for. We have a wonderful student on the call with us right now. His name is Abraham Zepeta. And I want to share a little bit about who he is as a human before I share his rigorous accolades. Abraham is a light in this world. When he steps into the room, you feel it. He is bright. He is curious. He is a deep thinker, and he makes everybody else rise to his level because he invites other people into the conversation. He is truly an amazing human being, and he has the accolades. So I just want to share a little bit about those accolades for a second. First, Abraham is a senior at Yes Prep West right now, and he is a burgeoning musician. So he has been a part of the Houston Youth Symphony as a double bassist. He explored in the New England Conservatory one summer. And he works as a district ambassador at Yes Prep West on campus, creating tours for donors and staff, translating presentations, and promoting culture through the HAL morning announcements. After a transformative fall semester during his junior year at the High Mountain Institute, Abraham seeks to merge his artistry with his commitment to equity, creating spaces where stories inspire change. And next fall, we are so proud of him. Abraham will begin his undergraduate studies at Harvard, where he plans to concentrate in environmental studies and public policy, while at the same time joining the Harvard Radcliffe Orchestra. So if everybody could give Abraham some shine as he comes off mute and tells us a little bit about his college bound and breakthrough in general story. Abraham, come on up. We're so excited to hear from you.
Hello?
Hi, Abraham.
We
I'm
can
sorry,
hear
guys.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
We
we can
can.
hear you. He is having a little bit
Okay.
of technical difficulty, so you will not be able to hear his beautiful face, but you will be able to hear his beautiful voice. So, Abraham, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I want to thank the College Bound team for inviting me to be here for this wonderful event and share about my story with Breakthrough and as a whole, my academic journey and as Miss Rachel described it very wonderfully, all of my accolades. So I'll get started with this wonderful story I prepared for today. When I first considered joining Breakthrough, an energetic teacher came to my school, and his name was Mr. Lundy. Mr. Lundy came to speak at my school, and he talked about the program with so much conviction that it was almost contagious. At the time, I was a sixth grader, and I was unsure, curious, and honestly, I was sold. I didn't know it then, but Breakthrough would become one of the greatest and most formative communities of my life. My first summer with Breakthrough happened during the pandemic, so I wasn't in person. I was between these meetings again in Zoom. We were online trying to build connection through Zoom during one of the most uncertain times in recent memory and history. And yet, even the virtual challenge, expectations were high academically. We were learning chemistry, we were learning algebra, we were learning essay structures, all of that in seventh grade, which felt very, very overwhelming. And I wondered if I was behind or if it was a disparity within the education of, of my own school. But I remember that summer became one of the first instances in which I learned to advocate for myself. I learned how to ask questions. I stayed after class and I leaned on my teachers and my peers. By the eighth grade, we were back in person. The connections felt more natural, and Mr. Lundy carried every session with energy and an insatiable curiosity for learning. And that spirit stayed with me in every classroom and in every activity, and it changed the way I showed up to activities. That summer, we toured colleges, including the University of Houston, and it was a very exciting time. Walking on college campus made it, as a middle school student, made higher education feel accessible. It wasn't just an idea or a dream, it could become a possibility. In the ninth grade, the College Bound program shifted towards prepping us for high school success. And one of the lessons that stuck with me during this time was study habits. A few friends and I began studying together consistently, holding each other accountable for exams and due dates. And those habits still carry today to the rest of my high school career. As Ms. Rachel mentioned, 10th grade is about career exploration. And I would hear a bunch of terms, applications, resumes, deadlines. It was all overwhelming. But once I began applying, I started getting a few acceptances. And I began to understand that these opportunities weren't only going to be resume builders. They were invitations that would invite us to discover what truly mattered to us. That summer, I volunteered at the Houston Museum of Natural Sciences as an eco-team volunteer and served as a bass mentor and guest conductor at the Energy Corridor of Houston's Summer Orchestra String Camp. At the museum, I worked with younger students in a Pokemon education class and a physics lab. It taught me patience. It taught me endurance, especially at 8 a.m. with little kids that have a lot of energy. And it also taught me something about myself, that education with very young students is not for me. On the other hand, at the string summer camp, I was working with middle school students, and it felt a lot different. I coached bass students, I supported the technique, and eventually conducted a chamber ensemble of 8 musicians. Standing in front of the group, shaping our orchestral story, I fell in love with conducting. And I realized that music education, particularly with students closer to my own age, energized me. What once felt as a pressure to apply became clarity. Breakthrough wasn't pushing us just to achieve, it was pushing us to explore. And at the end of that summer, I prepared for one of the most transformative experiences of my life, a semester at the High Mountain Institute in Colorado. The application process was intense. There was multiple essays, recommendations, financial aid forms, you guess it. And with the encouragement from Ms. Adopong and Mr. Carlos, I navigated it successfully. Tuition was over $50,000, which was a huge financial burden for my family. And through scholarships and financial aid, I paid $0. And leaving Texas for Colorado was a big step. My family was understandably anxious. I come from a predominantly Latino school community, and HMI was a predominantly white institution. I worried about belonging. But HMI challenged me in every way. Academically, socially, physically. I had dialogue-based classes. I went through experiential learning, outdoor expeditions in the Colorado Rockies and Utah Canyon country. I learned how to cook for our community, how to navigate through canyons, wash my own laundry, which it's something I should have learned, but I learned on my own without my family's guidance, and how to live intentionally with others. Intentionality became the magic of my experience with HMI. It was being vulnerable, listening deeply, and sharing stories. Through courses in environmental ethics and a TED-style talk that I developed in my environmental science class, I discovered a passion for environmental justice and public policy. I began to see how policy shapes lived experiences, and especially in communities like Houston, like Gulfton, Alieve, the Third Ward, and Fifth Ward. Back at Breakthrough, after HMI ended, one of the greatest gifts that I felt and I came to understand was that Breakthrough is a safe space to fail. During the 10th and 11th grade, I applied to a bunch of programs and some competitive ones. And actually, I faced rejection. When I was rejected from an orchestra program that I applied to, the National Youth Orchestra of the United States of America, I was initially disappointed. But Breakthrough had already taught me that rejection is okay, and we need to keep moving forward into new opportunities. So I applied to the New England Conservatory's Summer Orchestra Institute instead. With scholarship support, I spent my summer in Boston making music at a level that transformed me as a musician. I spent the summer with friends from all over the country and international students from China and Panama. These connections within music made me appreciate the community that I was a part of and inspired me to audition for music school in the following year. Before the 12th grade began, our director, Dr. Thomas, had us working relentlessly on essays, resumes, and applications, and Ms. Rachel was there to support us every step of the way as well. It felt draining at the time, but they reminded us that, quote, everyone else will be overwhelmed later. You'll already be ahead a step of the game, end quote. And they were right. By mid-October, my applications and financial aid forms were complete. And everyone else at my school was stressing about the application process, about getting all the deadlines, about finishing their essays. They were overwhelmed. And with finishing early, I was also able to help out a few fellow classmates on revising essays and their profiles to reassure them about their applications. My original plans for my college application was on applying through Questbridge, the national match. But after conversations and emails with music programs, I adjusted my strategy. They told me that I would not be able to apply to school and to Questbridge. So, with guidance from my counselors, Dr. T's steady belief in me, and my double bass, private instructor, I trusted the process. In December, I received an email from Oberlin Conservatory, a prestigious and transformative music institution. It read, subject, Oberlin Conservatory screening outcome. I was cooking eggs for breakfast, and the email caught me by surprise. After I turned off the stove, I opened it and I scrolled down. Congratulations! You have passed the screening round in bass. I was so excited to be invited for a second audition at the Oberlin Conservatory, and I felt that dual degree studies were one step closer. Then, on December the 18th, restrictive early action decisions were out. That day, my family made a surprise arrival to our apartment, and I thought, this is a great time to open my decision. It was Thursday, December the 18th, at 8 p.m., surrounded by my entire family in our apartment. I opened another decision letter. The room was silent, except for the hum of the AC unit. Dear Abraham, congratulations! Welcome to the Harvard College Class of 2030. As the son of immigrant parents and the first to go to an Ivy League institution, higher education is not something I take lightly. My parents' sacrifices made my opportunities possible, and every acceptance letter felt like a shared achievement. Breakthrough taught me that learning is an act of love. Love for curiosity, love for growth, love for community. It taught me that belonging is built on trust, vulnerability, and intentionality. And as I join next fall Harvard Class of 2030, I will carry with me a mission to pursue environmental justice and public policy so that communities in Houston and communities like the ones that raised me can thrive sustainably and equitably. Breakthrough didn't just prepare me as a student, it inspired me to give back to the communities that helped raise me and make learning a lifelong act of service. Breakthrough brings light into spaces where opportunities has been scarce. A light that grows in communities that have been overlooked. A light that inspires a love for learning. Breakthrough creates access. Breakthrough creates equity. Breakthrough believes that brilliance exists in all students, and with unwavering support, they can also lead lives of opportunity. Thank you for believing in students like myself.
Wow. I'm overwhelmed in a great way by your story, Abraham. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Sarah.
All right. Well, I'm sure folks have questions for Abraham or just reactions. So we're just going to open up the space for conversation. You can just undo your mute button and ask your question out loud. You can drop it in the chat. And we would love to hear from folks and just have some dialogue.
Wow, just congratulations, Abraham. This is so exciting and wonderful.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you.
And as a parent with kids who have gone through this process, there is such a thing. I heard this at another meeting and I stole it. Barriers beyond access. So it's wonderful that Breakthrough is thinking about that and supporting, and the numbers are astounding. Congratulations. I'm glad I was able to join and hear your moving testimonial to what happens when the community comes together.
Thanks, Monica.
Hi, this is Jeff Castro listening in from Centerpoint. I just want to echo those comments as well. Kudos on an amazing presentation, and also just outcomes. Outcomes you shared are phenomenal. So I just want to give you kudos for putting on a great presentation and then sharing just some amazing results.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Anna.
Go ahead, Anna.
Okay, thanks. What a wonderful presentation, and the way you delivered it was beautiful and moving and exciting. So congratulations to you. Um, I'm curious about, and I've been asking Sarah a lot of questions, but about joining Breakthrough. Like you talked about how the teacher, I forget the name that you mentioned, came and gave you this enthusiastic and convincing presentation as a sixth grader. Were
Mhm.
your teachers encouraging you? Did you go home and talk to your family? How did your entrance to Breakthrough? There are a lot of programs, probably mainly getting high school students. And so Breakthrough is probably one of the earliest programs. Um, and I'm just curious about the entrance process and, do you give your family a lot of credit and the environment you're in at Yes Prep as well.
Certainly. If I remember correctly, it was in sixth grade. There was a sign up form. There had been some conversations from my teachers at my school that were saying we have an event, wonderful organization coming to our school. Would love for your students to join. And one day after that, Mr. Lundy came to our school and he started talking about Breakthrough. I remember there was a couple forms we had to sign up for. Nothing very crazy after that. I don't remember much, but I do remember we had some forms to sign up for in sixth grade. But the conversation with families, there was a couple families that came to our event. I would say it was a little over 8 families that came for our event at our school, and we have over four students from my school within my grade level that came, and we finished applying. And the conversations, the dialogue that teachers had was that Breakthrough was going to support us every step of the way, whether it was preparing us for the next school year, the college application process, and even beyond. It had our parents hooked. That was one of the greatest supports and resources that we could have, specifically as charter schools, as low income families, having that support to ensure that our students feel empowered to pursue the lives of opportunity that they want.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Anna.
I was going to ask the same question about how to go in a little more about how you joined. So I'm going to pivot, thanks to Anna's question, and ask you, Abraham, can you name the one thing that motivated you to stick with it for so many years?
Certainly. I think there are two very important things that helped me stay with Breakthrough. One of them was, I think, is one of the greatest reflections within my story that I shared was community, right? Specifically because most of us start in sixth grade, we start developing these connections with each other. We did our very best from the middle school program into the college bound and just working with each other for as many years as we can. We learn how to work with each other, how to support each other. And the teachers, specifically the teachers, were always so eager to learn about us. They were always so eager to support us, to give us the resources and the help that we needed. I know a lot of students, we've had different and varying interests in a lot of different things. I have a couple of friends that are interested in medical. I have been interested in music. I have been interested in semester schools. Some have been interested in law programs. So every director and every teacher for each grade level that we've been has been able to adjust to every student to give us the resources that we need tailored to ourselves. And the community, not just within the students, but the community that the teachers help build with all of us, were two of the greatest resources that helped me stay with Breakthrough for so long.
Thanks for sharing. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Nancy. Thanks.
That was just a great presentation by the Breakthrough staff. And Abraham, you are just a bright and shining star that will just never flicker out. You're just going and going and going. And it's just so inspiring to hear you speak and observe your poise in a situation like this. And I just really want to congratulate you on your endeavors and studies and perseverance thus far. And my question is about being in college. You're going to be far away from your family. You're going to be in weather that is very different than in Houston. How do you
Right.
think personally you might need breakthroughs, college uh, help when you are at Harvard?
Yeah. We started talking about this last Super Saturday about the resources that the College Bound program, not the College Bound, the college completion process have. And one of our directors, she said that one of the greatest things and biggest challenges that most students are going to have is going to be scheduling, right? Being able to fit in all of your classes, being able to have time for yourself, being able to complete all the different things that you're going to need through your everyday life in whatever college you choose. And I know specifically one of the biggest challenges that I'm probably going to have is being able to juggle academics. Just coming from my school, Yes Prep, I've had a bunch of peers that have gone to college and say the rigor is difficult of college. That they wish they would have had more resources in being able to plan and feel like they fit in the community and how to find those communities that they fit in. And the resources that our director has mentioned is that they offer counseling. They offer counseling for scheduling. They also offer mental and physical counseling. So whatever resources that we need, whether it is if we need some personal mental resources, some scheduling resources, even financial advising, how to create budgets for ourselves, how to continue applying for financial aid. There are a lot of things that I won't know. And I'm glad to count on Breakthrough as one of the resources that will be there to help me every step of the way.
These questions are so good. I think we have time for one more.
I just want to say thank you, Abraham, for that answer. And I'm following you. I am with the team. I'm just following you. Congrats and good luck.
Thanks, Mary. Thank you.
Now we're all following Abraham. Now we all want to stay in touch. And Abraham, as a mom, and it's really interesting the whole issue of the first generation. You don't know what you don't know. Just use every single resource. Just
Right.
don't be shy. Don't be shy. And Chrissy knows me. Michelle knows me. You can consider me a resource now as well. So we're all so excited for you.
Thanks, Monica. I want to put this out there to everyone. You can find me on LinkedIn. It's my full name, Abraham Zepeta. It's you can find me. I have all my updates on there, and I also want to share a little bit about my story or my family story. Uh, I have two older sisters. I have two older sisters, and they each graduated from another Yes Prep school. They graduated from Yes Prep Gulfton. They went off to go to Texas A&M University. My oldest sister, she studied geophysics, and my other sister, she studied psychology. And they are both doing what they love. One of my sisters, Melissa, she is going to pursue her master's degree at the Arizona's virtual university. And I'm excited for our entire family because being able to honor our parents' sacrifices, specifically as immigrants, and having them not complete a higher education is a privilege for us because we have the resources to go and we can uplift our communities and the people that we surround ourselves with, and to have Breakthrough as an additional resource that has students, not just family, right? Because a lot of low income and racial minority communities and families count on each other, on the family network, and not really on students, on professionals that are out there. So whenever it's exploring careers, we go to our family, we'll go to whatever is closest to us. And being able to bridge that access is one of the greatest resources that Breakthrough has given me and our community, and just seeing how it has allowed us to thrive and continue to count on those resources are something that I'm incredibly grateful for.
Thank you so much, Abraham. And thank you for honoring your family in that way. I think one of the things that is sticking with me just after this conversation is how much we learn from each of our students about how to do what we do. And, those were great questions. And the more that you spoke, the more it was just like, this is really what fuels us in knowing the right way to come alongside of students. So, thank you. Thank you so much. I learned so much during this time, and just so honored that you spent it with us. Thank you, Abraham.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, everyone.
As we close out, I want to just give a shout out to something we're looking forward together this spring. We're coming together on April 29th for our first ever Pour Into the Future, a Toast to Future Leaders event. And it's really a chance where we celebrate our students and be in community together. And it's a really cool space where we get to remind ourselves why we do what we do, similar to what we've done today on Zoom. And so if you're planning to be with us, we'd love to see you there, and we're excited about that. And if there is anyone in your life that you would like to introduce to our work and our students, it's a beautiful time to do that. So in closing, we are just so thankful for your belief in our students and in the long road and the journey. And just thank you so much for walking it with us. And huge thanks again to Abraham for taking time away from his day to be with us. Thank y'all so much. Thanks, Abraham, for sharing.